Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Red Nation Indigenous Filmmakers Lounge, the conversation series. Today's spotlight is a doc short film, Bad River, and our director is A.J. Reid. But before we introduce A.J. and the film, we would like to follow up on what we've been doing. The 25th RNCI Red Nation International Film Festival has been going really great. We have, it's been an extraordinary year. We have 105 films, 73 directed documentaries, 35 directed by women, 12 student films, and 10 experimental. From the US, Canada, Italy, Greenland, Australia, Mexico, Ecuador, France, Iceland, New Zealand, and Greece. The 25th Red Nation Celebration Institute is creating systemic change through arts and media. The first and largest global Native woman-led enterprise, founded in 1995 in Santa Fe, New Mexico during Indian Market. RNCI is the longest standing American Indian and Indigenous media, educational, arts, and cultural nonprofit organization based in Los Angeles. RNCI, the authentic voice of American Indian and Indigenous nations, increases visibility of independent filmmakers, media artists, contemporary and traditional performing arts of diverse artistic disciplines, and content creators, amplifying cinematic excellence with emphasis on initiatives for Native women, girls, and youth in all media platforms and educational institutions. RNCI is dedicated to changing the narrative about Native peoples on a global scale. Our RNCI Board of Directors has built the Institute to cast light on the voices, stories, contributions, and assets of contemporary Native peoples in replacing dangerous stereotypes that Native peoples face in media and academia, with a 25-year history of cohesive research-informed strategies, groundbreaking initiatives through cinematic excellence, media, and strong focus on partnerships. So we just wrapped our award ceremony, which was so amazing on November 29th. So these follow-up Indigenous Filmmakers Lounge, the conversation series, is the after post festival, post awards. But all of these interviews, the 33 directors that we've interviewed, will be online on Red Nation Television Network in January 2021, if not sooner. So let's help me welcome our guest director, A.J. Reid. And A.J. directed this doc short film, Bad River. So hi, A.J., welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, fantastic. We're really excited to have you. Okay, so we're going to be celebrating. We've been celebrating all month, but definitely after the award ceremony. So I'm going to hold up my celebration glass, and it is wheatgrass. So here's cheers to you on the success of your film. Chink. There. Ching. So we instead of me reading about, what your film is about, I prefer to have you, the director, let everyone know what your doc short is all about, Bad River. And you can watch it. You can watch it on Red Nation ff.com. Just FYI, we've extended all the films, most all of the 105 films, till the end of the year, so that everyone could rewatch, because the festival was so successful. Okay, AJ, it's all you.
All right, here we go. Wish me luck.
Yeah.
So yeah, my doc short, Bad River, is about a small village in Southwest Alaska, a Yupik village. It's located in the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, which is pretty big expanse of just rural Alaska. It's part of a network of Yupik villages that kind of dot the region, and yeah, very remote. Its sort of remote location informs a lot about its culture, which is, and has been subsistence culture for some time. So it's a community that has a long history of living off the land and surviving the elements of harsh Alaskan winter. I'm not from there. I'm from Miami, so
Oh,
it was definitely a bit of a shock going up there at the start of the year, actually, before COVID-19 kind of put the whole world on hold. So yeah, my film aims to tell the story of this village, and specifically some of the modern threats that its indigenous residents face as a result of really just a lot of elements that are beyond their control. So from climate change to the fossil fuel industry, which is obviously very connected to climate change, as well as the public school system and modernization. There are a lot of these outside influences that have steadily sort of crept into this community, which is, again, very, very remote and very much out there. But in spite of that, this increasingly globalized world we live in has a way of, impacting every single corner of it. And the latest and most glaring example of that, which is not actually, delved into in the film, of course, but is very contemporary, is COVID-19, which has sadly reached the village. And I was in correspondence with Pauline Morris, one of the elders featured in the doc about a week ago, and she told me that there are now probably over 100 cases in the village. So it's a hard reality we're living in, and it's especially hard for indigenous communities across the world, right, who are facing and dealing with the impact of so much. So
yeah.
it was my honor to be there and to listen to these stories and to just try to create a film that can be like a platform for this town.
So is there a website or anything that our audience may want to help the village and the community and the elders with, with what, mass or whatever, funds or anything like that? Is there a call to action? Maybe what you could do is you can email me and we could put it up on the side.
Yeah. I can definitely do some digging and get back to you on that.
Yeah,
definitely.
that would be awesome.
When I did read, I've been in touch regularly with a lot of people from there, and when I did, I asked what I could do in regard to COVID-19 especially, and the main thing I've heard is just to keep them in your prayers, and that's something I've tried to do, but yeah,
well, we're still here and we're very resilient people, so
absolutely.
Prayers are definitely powerful, and prayers work. So my question to you is, okay, so you're not Native, right?
Right.
And you want to make this movie. Why this subject matter? What was the aha moment for you that you went, oh my God, I gotta go. What inspired you?
Well, I consider myself an ally, definitely,
Yes.
and an advocate and somebody who's who's very passionate about Indigenous rights, and specifically, and also kind of just about decolonizing my mind. I think, being brought up in the West and Western education, I was like deliberately not taught a lot of things, and I am just committed to broadening my horizons and understanding that there's a whole wealth of knowledge and wisdom that the whole world can gain from Indigenous people, and by just kind of shutting up and listening, I think there's just I think there's a lot of healing that needs to be done.
Right. I mean, even in schools, like, we're not taught the real history of what's happened, in this country. So it's always welcoming to have good allies, strong allies. And I'm so happy you submitted your film. It's a great film. And
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm happy for me, right? My ego sure is, great, but really I'm really just happy that the story of this little known community is out there now. It gives me so much hope, and just watching a lot of the films on this festival too also just gives me so much hope, just knowing that the stories are being told because they need to be told, and it's an honor to be a part of that.
Well, at the award ceremony, one of our filmmakers, she said, she directed Without a Whisper, Miss Fox. I'm going to say Miss Fox. And
Foxy.
she quoted, she shared that, our grandmothers didn't have a voice, and were, documented like how we are doing now. And now they do, right, in history. So the power of film is the power of film. And this is our new media where we're able to, express ourselves and tell our stories, being that we're such storytellers. And the powerful thing about what's happened with the festival this year, with all the 105 filmmakers, is that there's 105 films that are new, right? And some are retrospect. There's a handful that are retrospect, but primarily most of them, 100 of them are new, right? And that's powerful. That's saying that, there's people, not only our allies, but our native filmmakers, that are telling our stories, creating our stories. Just to get any film done is a miracle, and out there, and then distribute it, right? So what was your process in that? Like, so where did you find your funding? How did that come about? And then to get it out to the world, what was that? What was your process?
Well, my father, Andrew Reid, is a public artist, and he works on large scale murals for communities, all kinds of communities around the country. And he was actually commissioned to do a series of murals in Kwethluk, in their new school, which is featured in the doc. And once that came through, we were immediately talking about ways to have me kind of just tag along my camera and my camera gear. So that's where it started. Have to give credit to my dad.
Yeah, of course.
For that one.
No, my kids went with me everywhere, and that's how they got,
Yeah.
That's what we do as parents, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. And both of us were and are just so moved by the community and by the culture and by the tenacity and the resilience and but also really just the generosity too, that we both felt when we were there and in the weeks and months leading up to the trip. But yeah, I went along with him and another art assistant of his, Juan Rosas, 3 Miamians, going to Alaska in the peak of winter. So that was something else.
Yeah.
But I and that just sort of segue onto something else that it's important. Like I can't speak on behalf of the town, right? I can't speak on behalf of Yupik culture. I can speak on behalf of my experience visiting and my experience learning from a people that just had so much to share. I think that's an important little side note. So spent about 2 weeks up in Alaska, just with the record button on the whole time, just and really just listening. I didn't go in with a story in my, I didn't go in with a plan, a whole plan or a treatment, because how could I, such an outsider, and I wanted to be very mindful of that during my stay. So I had a series of long and open-ended interviews with some of the elders in the village, which really just rocked my world.
I bet. Yeah.
And then the hard part was from that finding the story, and packaging it into a 10-minute short doc for people to understand and appreciate.
Right. So on the set, while you were filming, what was your big aha moment, or was your big oh my God, this is your epic moment, my darling?
There were several.
Yeah. Oh, good. We've been hearing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Every interview I had, I came away from just with watery eyes, I'm just thinking back on the experience.
Yeah.
I arrived around the same time as Slavik, which is the Russian Orthodox Christmas festival that's celebrated every year in the village, because it is largely Russian Orthodox community. And that, I think it was a great time to come, because there is a certain kind of festive atmosphere, and it was a great way to just get introduced to a lot of people as well. I have to give a special shout out to Mary Nikolai, who kind of took me under her wing the first week or so, just kind of taking this tall white dude with long hair around, and taking me around to the different houses, because first during Slavic, everybody in the community kind of goes from house to house to house to house over the course of several days, and sings songs, and eats traditional Yupik food, and just exchanges a lot of there's a lot of exchange of just love and kindness and culture and community in that. So that was probably the first, aha moment, just to share and be introduced to the kindness of the community.
We do that. I'm from New Mexico, and we have 19 pueblos in New Mexico, and that's what we do on feast days. And if you don't go to this family, then they get upset. So by the end of the day, you're like, you have to pace yourself.
Oh, another thing I would love to speak to is just I got another aha moment was during one of the houses I visited. It was packed, and I wasn't even in the house. I was like kind of bleeding out into the staircase outside the house, kind of like trying to look in and see what was going on. But there was this one moment when one of the elders kind of pulled up, old man Jackson. He actually recently passed, but he was over 100 years old and still on his feet too.
Right.
And he arrived, and I just remember it was like the parting of the seas, and this super packed house, just suddenly everybody kind of stepped aside and allowed this man, this walking story, really, and keeper of so many stories and keeper of so much wisdom, just kind of, everybody just paved the way for him to come on in, because and that just showed me, of course, the importance and the significance that's placed on elders in this community, but also in indigenous cultures everywhere, right? And that was something that was relatively new to my more Western trained mind, I mean, Pauline compared the elders in indigenous cultures to books, to history books, to kind of put it in a more of like a Western context, and I felt that to be very true, they were definitely, there's a certain reverence that's definitely still exists across generations, which was great to observe that.
Was this your first time in any Native territory? That you were aware of?
Yeah, it was my first time really immersing myself in a Native territory. Yes, first time really just setting aside multiple weeks to just listen.
Right. Yeah. So that must have been very. That's a big, huge aha moment, right? Because you're seeing, when I've taken friends to our territories, someone new, right? That's never been, that, it's mind-blowing, because they have no idea, right? So all these feelings come up, are starting to roll in and manifest inside you. And it's like, why this? Why wasn't I told this? All that, so many questions, right? Like, why have we been denied this knowledge? Why haven't we been told the truth? But it really comes down to the land and the water, the Miniwaka, right? So that's the bigger, they had to first try to wipe us out, then divide us, then tell a whole big lie to the masses, so they can keep the land and the water.
Those precious resources, right?
Yes.
And Kwethluk translates to Bad River. It exists on the Kwethluk River, which has provided for the village, for years and years and years and years.
Right.
So just observing that and feeling that inseparable connection to the land was a major
So what was
realization.
your takeaway? Because we're going to wrap this up in about 5 minutes, but what was
wow,
your,
that did go fast.
I know, yeah. 30 minutes is quick. Yeah. So what was your takeaway? Like after experiencing this for the first time and seeing the elder and, hearing and video, filming all of this knowledge, and when you were leaving and you got back to your Miami house or apartment, wherever, what was your takeaway? What'd you learn?
The importance of knowing how to listen, the importance of knowing how to deconstruct preconceived notions, the importance of elders, of storytellers, and of the first storytellers of Indigenous people, the importance of Indigenous people in our world, and just learning. It's crazy to think I was only there for 2 weeks, but I think on my experience there every single day.
Yeah.
It was quite transformative, and I think I'm probably still finding the takeaways from it.
Yeah. Well, it'll live with you forever. Those because the spirit touched you, right? So it's like you were welcomed into the circle there.
Yes, and I definitely feel much more committed now as well to continuing to try to continuing to listen, first of all, but also continuing to use my art, my film, as a way to help communicate stories that need to be told.
Right. So for all of you that are watching, you can watch Bad River for another month until the end of this month, all through the holiday season. You could binge watch all of these films and Bad River, AJ Reid's film, on rednationff.com. So AJ, what are your plans with the film? And one, we always invite our filmmakers to consider streaming their film on our Red Nation television network. It's like our distribution arm for our filmmakers. So that's a consideration. It's usually after the festival circuit, your film, if it gets picked up for distribution, that might happen, right? Or what have you. But after that whole cycle happens, or during the cycle, whatever you want to do, you're always have a seat at our table, and you're welcome to submit your film to stream on our television network. We have we have 10 million viewers in 37 countries, so it's a good place to stream your film. It's all native content on our channel.
Yeah, I can't think of a better home for the story. Yeah. The film is it's still going, it's going through the circuit right now. Developments will happen as they come, but I'm just grateful to be in for the ride. And
so what are your plans for we're going to wrap this up in about 2 minutes. What are your plans for the future? Are you into your next film, or you're just rolling with this film right now?
Rolling with this film right now, rolling with the unpredictability of 2020 in general. You know, I'm in Aotearoa, New Zealand, Maori land right now. I moved here
Oh,
about.
I thought you were in Miami.
Oh no, I moved here from Miami about
Oh.
4 months ago.
Oh my gosh, how exciting. So you're in New Zealand right now?
I'm in New Zealand right now and
Oh,
I don't know how long I'll be here, but for the foreseeable future at least, and or at least until the pandemic is under control.
well, it's great over there with the COVID.
Oh,
One of our board members is there now filming a film, and he says it's
really?
incredible.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I'll hook you guys up.
That'd be
I'll ask
amazing.
him.
Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah.
hear about what he's up to.
Yeah, it's A.
And
Martinez.
okay,
A. Martinez. Yeah.
A. Martinez. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm keeping a very open mind while I'm here. You know, still finding my way, finding work, and looking out for stories as well.
Yeah.
For my next.
Oh wow, I have an
documentary.
idea for you. Okay, I'll tell you after.
Yeah.
I do.
We'll chat. We'll
But
chat.
you have your camera and everything, right?
Yeah, I've got all my gear here. So
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so let's wrap this up. Everyone out there that's tuning in or that will replay this interview, you are experienced the Red Nation Indigenous Filmmakers Lounge. It's the conversation series, and we're here spotlighting the film Bad River. It's a short, and you can watch it on rednationff.com till the end of the month, and then in 2021 on Red Nation Television Network at some point. And we are visiting with director AJ Reid and his experience in making his film Bad River.
thank you for this.
Yeah.
Koyana, thank you in Yupik.
How do you say?
Koyana.
Koyana?
It's like Quyana. Koyana.
Wait, I have to write that down. Quyana.
Ayana.
Koyana.
Yep.
Koyana.
There you go. That's
Koyana.
Around there.
I love that. Koyana. All right. So I tried. All right, AJ, it's been a pleasure interviewing you, and I wish you much success. And you're in a good place in New Zealand because they have it together over there with the COVID. So
yes, very grateful to be here.
Yeah.
And thank you again for having me.
And thank your dad for taking you along the.
Yes. Thanks, Dad, if you're watching.
Yeah.
Love you. And Mom, I know you're watching. Love
Hi,
you, Mom.
All right. Well, everyone, you can view Bad River, stream it, binge all the films at rednationff.com. Thank you, AJ Reid. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.